Is this like a social experiment or what?
Not really. Well, kind of not really. What do you think?
I think it's a wee bit fucking weird.
Why?
Why? Because like,
I don't really think that you should be abusing animals for your own pleasure because it hurts them.
Right, okay. Could I ask you a couple of questions?
Yeah.
Come a wee bit closer.
Okay.
Right, so 4 questions I ask people always, okay?
Right.
What's your names, by the way?
Stephen.
Charlotte.
Charlotte. I'm Cliff. Pleased to meet you. First question, what do you think of animals?
I think they're comforting, and they're also I don't know the words for it, but like I like them.
Okay.
Depends on what animals we're talking. Like domesticated, domesticated, or like. Well, I feel like animals that are domesticated should just be left alone. You know what I mean? Or
I agree with you, man. I love animals too, so I don't agree with this saying. By the way, just to be heads up about it.
all right,
Okay.
Second question is, what do you think of people who abuse animals?
I
the
believe
honest opinion.
there's a reason that they do belong in jail. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like they should just get their shit kicked in, to be honest.
Right, okay. I've heard it all. I've heard people say, hang them, shoot them, put them in jail, kill them. Somebody said castrate them one day.
Castrate them.
So I've heard it all. I kind of agree, to be honest. Third question is, how would you qualify abuse, or how would you describe abuse?
Neglecting them, or just genuinely hitting them just anyway and not taking care of them, even if you like signed up to adopt them or take them in.
Okay, what about you?
Anything that can cause the animal physical harm or mental harm.
That's the perfect answer, because for me it's, and yours was a good answer too, physical or mental harm, because you can intimidate an animal as well and frighten them. So for me that would be wrong too. Right. All right, buddy.
That's correct. I don't agree.
You don't agree?
I don't agree.
Are you sure?
Sure.
Can I ask you a couple of questions?
Yes.
Actually, 3 questions. You can take a picture if you want, it's fine.
Yeah.
So first question, what do you think of animals?
Love them. Love them. Mate has a wee dog and all, has Staffy.
Me too.
Yeah.
I love Staffies, they're my favourite dog. What do you think of people who abuse animals?
Sick. Disgusting. Don't deserve to have them, I mean. Shouldn't even have a dog in their possession, any animal.
Okay. I agree. So the third question is, how would you describe abuse? Or what would you qualify as abuse?
Any sort of mistreatment of any type of animal, whether that be not giving it appropriate food, not looking after it properly, not taking it out as well so it can get exercise.
Physically harming them?
Physically harming them as well.
Mentally harming them as well?
Anything.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I agree with you. I don't agree with that sign, by the way. I think most people do, but most people do it and they're not aware. Well, hold on, there's a tricky question coming now. This is the hard question. It's easy for me to ask, but it's a tricky one. I'm not trying to catch you out. I'm genuinely trying to impart some information to people. Maybe if you're a true animal lover. So, like, fourth question. This is the tricky one. Genuinely, this is not me trying to dog you out or trying to catch you out or anything like that. I'm genuinely not. I'm asking people to think about choices that they make. So, the animals that we send in the slaughterhouses, the ones that we typically eat and wear, pigs, chickens, sheep. I'm not trying to catch you out, by the way. I'm not, because I used to pay for it too.
Sick.
What about those animals? We stab them, we electrocute them, we shoot them in the head. Some of them we drown. What about those animals?
Well,
How do you feel about that?
I feel really shitty whenever I think about it.
Yeah. Why do you think that is? Because you care about animals, right?
Yeah. Like, I don't really think about that because I don't want to.
Yeah, and you're taught not to as well, which is why I lived a large part of my adult life not thinking about it either. So, what about you? Just be honest. I'm not trying to catch you out.
Personally, I feel like if an animal is put out of its life in a humane and non-harmful way, I feel like that's all right, because everything eats everything. It's a part of the ecosystem. It's how the world works.
Well,
It would have been eaten one way.
So
or
I do
another,
think that mass killing of animals should be wrong. There should definitely be a limit on how much farms can put out at a singular time, and I feel like they shouldn't be allowed to.
so for me, I need to cover, you said a couple of very interesting things. And again, I'm not trying to catch you out, but number one, it doesn't matter to me if it's 1 million animals or one animal, because that one individual animal values its life as much as you value your life, or your dog or your cat values their life. So to them, if you are harming them unnecessarily, which it is, it's completely unnecessary. I know we've all been taught that you have to eat animal products and wear them and stuff. You genuinely don't. And the second thing you said is, if you do it humanely. Well, how do you humanely kill somebody? Describe that to
Do
me.
it quickly so that they don't feel any pain.
Right.
That's that.
I'd say that.
Do you understand my point, though?
There's still feel pain. There's
Yeah,
it's
they
just,
do. They
For
do.
like a short amount of time. Then.
Yeah. Right. So let me put it this way to you and see if this changes your mind. Say I broke into your house. This is not a threat, by the way.
Okay.
Hypothetically, I broke into your house at night and you're sound asleep, and I came up into your bedroom, and before you wake up, I put your gun to your head and shot you, and you didn't know a thing about it. Would you say that was humane?
I wouldn't say it is humane, and I wouldn't say it isn't humane. I know that the farmers who killed like chickens and other produce aren't humane, but like it's a way of nourishment because people do need protein, and I'm not saying that like other
protein from plant stuff.
Yeah, he's actually right. You can get all the and I know you've been taught differently. Again, I'm not trying to dog you out. You can get all the protein you need from plants. The animals that we take in the slaughterhouses, pigs, sheep, cows, chickens, the ones that we electrocute, we cut their throats, we shoot them in the head, we drown some of them. Pigs we throw in gas chambers.
Yeah.
What about those animals? Have you ever thought about them?
That's true. That's true.
No, it is true.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, if you think kicking a dog's bad, well, why is it okay to stick a knife in a cow's throat? Yeah. That's why I'm here. Have you ever thought that before?
That's true. Like I said, I think
Yeah. I'm not trying to catch you out.
No,
I paid for it for a lot of my life. I didn't have the information. I was fully vegetarian at 19 and I went vegan about 14 years ago. So now I'm an animal rights activist. So I go into farms, I've been in slaughterhouses, and I've seen what those animals go through. So if you can buy plant-based alternatives for absolutely everything, and genuine question to you, what would be the justification of paying somebody else to do something that you as a good heart, and I thoroughly believe you do love animals, by the way, you probably just haven't thought about it in this way before. What's the justification for paying other people to stab animals in the throat, amongst many other things?
Yeah.
What is the justification?
Iceland?
Do you have one? Other than... So the 4 reasons people use are habit, right? You've done it your whole life. Tradition, so Christmas and Easter and all that stuff. Convenience, because people think it's inconvenient to just eat plant-based products or wear vegan leathers or use cruelty-free cosmetics. And it's not. You can buy them in pretty much every shop.
Yeah.
And taste is the other.
So tasty, that's the problem.
Well, I'm going to ask you another question in a second about that. So first of all, I have eaten plant-based since I was 19. I'm 57 now. I'm living proof you can survive and thrive on plant-based products. I was a athlete to a top level for a lot of my life, and loads of athletes are plant-based nowadays. Even bodybuilders and strongmen and everything. So you can get... Where do you think cows get protein from?
The grass.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Yeah, so protein originally comes from plants. So I know you've been taught in school that you need to eat chicken and beef and stuff for protein. You can get all the protein you need from plants. The tasty thing, right? You can buy a vegan alternative for everything, right? I'm sure you've tried some of it.
Yeah, I have.
Thank you, Frank.
No, they're not. They're not.
The ones
Jesus.
our aunts is a vegetarian, we tried some of that stuff.
Listen, honestly, you don't like all meat products, right?
No.
Right, there's some you think are rank. Same with vegan products. You will find some you like. The shops are full of dozens of different ones. So say that on the taste thing, say they taste 10% different, right? Say you buy a vegan chicken burger, inverted commas, or an actual chicken burger, and they taste 10% different. What's more valuable to you? A slight taste difference, or a chicken being hung upside down and having their throat cut?
The thing is,
what's more valuable to you?
In my
morally,
right? Well, that chicken's already been killed, right? There's that. I can't stop that chicken from being killed.
No, you can't. I agree. But it's supply and demand, dude.
I suppose.
You know how supply and demand works. If you buy it, they only supply what we buy. So every time you buy a chicken, then you're contributing to the supply and demand process, you know? So I've abstained from that. I don't want people to kill chickens on my behalf. So therefore, I just buy plant-based products. And I'm not a perfect person. I'm not here trying to be a dick. I'm trying to say I'm better than you. I'm not doing any of that because I believed all the things you believe. I'm just trying to break down the reasons why people think they have to eat animal products because you're taught it in school and by your parents and you do it your entire life and people never question it. But believe me, if you could, so I'm an animal rights activist, right? So I've been in slaughterhouses and farms, and honestly, genuinely, if I could take you there and show you what they go through, I don't think you would ever try to justify it.
I think we have been to one.
Have you?
Didn't we?
You haven't, I have.
Oh, he has.
Where have you been?
Oh, it's the one up in Ballymena.
Cranswick, the pig one. That's about a mile. I live in Galgorm, so it's beside Galgorm Resort and Spa. Yeah. Have you been inside there? What? It's fucking brutal. You know what's gas chambers in, yeah? It's horrendous. So I want to ask you another question. So say have you ever tried vegan products?
Yeah. We eat quite a lot of vegan stuff. Like,
yeah.
I get like the vegan burgers and all you can get. Like them corn.
What do you think of the taste? Pretty good, yeah.
It tastes exactly the same. Like,
exactly the same.
Yeah.
And even if that's the question I was going to ask you is, even if they're like 5 or 10% different, sometimes they taste better, sometimes they don't. It just depends on the product. It's like meat products.
It tastes not over an animal until.
That's the question. What's more important or more valuable to you? A slight taste or difference in taste, or an animal's life? Yeah. That's how I see it. I want to protect animals, not harm them. Yeah. So, like, I live in Ballymena, man. Have you heard of Galgorm Resort?
Yes.
Right, so right next door to it is a place called Cranswick Country Foods, which sounds like a nice place, right? It's a gas chamber I've done vigils at that, believe it or not. So, not now, but a couple of years back, I organised with a guy, his name's Tony Domain, he's the top guy of all the Cranswicks in the UK, to stop the trucks so that we could spend some time with the pigs before they went in. See the screams of those animals in those gas chambers, it's fucked up. Like, it's really, really, really
think that should be used. Gas chambers.
But man, what's the humane way? That's what I'm asking you. The way we used to do it was electrical prongs. They used to electrocute their brains and then hang them upside and stab them. And that's a stunning process. The gas chambers, by the way, pigs are big, strong animals.
My brother's doing.
They put them in a gas chamber and it's carbon dioxide, so it's like suffocation for like a minute and a half till they're unconscious. And then when they come out, they put a shackle around their leg, they hang them upside down. Now they're coming conscious again, but now we've got you under control. And they put a knife in their throat and they cut their throat and they choke on their own blood. It's freaking horrendous. Why would you do that to an animal?
It's quite unnecessary, and if you just done it like in a quick and painful way, that would be at least a little bit more humanized. But it's the process of like knocking them out and then stabbing them and then letting them choke is just unnecessary.
But they say that's the most humane method.
But it's not.
Well, what is, again, I'm going to ask you, what is the humane way to kill an animal when you don't have to, when you can just eat vegan bacon instead?
The thing is, we're humans and we like do our own thing because we want to what's the word? Help ourselves because we're the most dominant species on the earth.
We are, but that's not, might doesn't make right. You know, so it's not right to exploit and kill somebody when you don't have to. I know most people are fine with it and okay with it. Some people don't know. And when I tell them, they go, right, I didn't know that. So I think knowledge is power, number one. But might doesn't make right. Just because you can do something that's unnecessary to cause harm to somebody else doesn't make it right, surely. Even though we can, like I could be racist and homophobic and all sorts of stuff. I choose not to do that because it's wrong and it's going to harm somebody else, you know?
Yeah.
You should hear the screams of those animals, man. It fucking tortures me. Like, it tortures me. I've been there, I've done vigils and spent some time with animals before they go in. It's the only love they ever see in their entire life. So they live a shit life for 6 months in a factory farm. Nearly all pigs are factory farmed here. You never see them in fields. And then the only time they ever see the sunlight or feel the wind in their face is the day somebody comes in a truck and takes them to a bloody gas chamber. I don't want to pay for that. What were you going to
say? I can see the values in both eating animals and non-eating animals. You'd have to eat a lot more vegan stuff to get a surplus of protein that you would need. But at the same time, it's more of a harm to the environment to killing an animal.
But more harm to the environment when you kill an animal, did you say? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot worse for the ecosystem if you kill an animal.
Absolutely.
But at the same time...
How do you know that, by the way?
I like to educate myself on these kinds of
That's a good thing, man. That is a good thing.
But at the same time, you look... Avocados, per se, they get flown in from here, and that damages the ecosystem a lot as well.
It does, of course it does. But
there's a lot of ecological damage done by both.
Of course, I don't personally like avocados, by the way, but that's not a get out. Most of there's 1% of the population is vegan at the minute, 1.5, maybe 2 push. You know, we're not the ones eating all avocados. Avocados are eaten by everybody, and I get you, there's horrendous problems caused by every food system to feed 8 billion people, right? But we feed, most of the crops we grow in this world are fed to the animals that we kill. So we're feeding 80 billion land animals to kill them every year. Somebody said recently it's gone up to 92 billion land animals every year. So if you go into a dairy farm, for example, you'll see bags of soybeans to feed to the animals. Well, where do they come from? Like, I'm talking bags that are like a ton weight.
We've been on a couple there.
Yeah. So they've been flown in from the Amazon too. So I was going to say to you, the science says if everyone was eating plant-based, right, we could use 70% less ground and still grow enough crops to feed 8 billion people. I know that's not going to happen overnight, but animal agriculture is horrendously bad for the environment. So it's bad for health, it's bad for the animals, and it's bad for the environment too, you know?
People don't care about that, and like the earth is gonna go away anytime soon because we've already invented cars and stuff that's already polluting the system.
I know.
And
we grew up in a system that's completely fucked up.
People don't care about animals, and there is a reason why there is breeding farms and such, because they need to make more to power their more food. Exactly. But people are omnivores, and they do like to have a balanced diet between foods with meats in them and foods with plants in them.
Yeah, you know, omnivores, we're actually closer, if you look into it, we're closer to herbivores than we are omnivores. Dogs are omnivores, for example. Like my dog, he eats plant-based, and he's really healthy for his age. And I get people don't care. A lot of people, you do care, which is great. You've educated yourself, you care. So you can only I can't force anybody to do anything. I can just give you some information and say, if you don't think it's cool to stab animals in the throat, to put them in gas chambers and electrocute them, when you can just make another choice, well then you can control what you do, right? What do you think of all that?
Good talking to you, mate. Like, I would agree with it. Like, I just seen her saying, and I just was
Can
like,
I give you a card each? I know you're probably on your lunch break, but I appreciate you stopping. Like I say, I'm not here to catch people out. When I was young, I cared about animals, and nobody told me the information. I just thought I had to eat it. I thought it was needed and necessary, and I found out from 19 years on, basically, that you don't have to. I'm 57 now, so I'm 11 proof you can survive and thrive. Yeah.
Don't look 57.
Well, eating a healthy plant-based diet. Animal products are bad for you as well. A lot of people will tell you they're good for you, but saturated fat and cholesterol, man, that's why people are in the hospital wards with diabetes and heart disease and all that stuff. I'm going to ask you to watch one thing before you go. Some resources here. See the bottom one, best speech you'll ever hear. It's free to watch on YouTube. It's about 40 minutes. Literally changed my life about 14 years ago. If you listen to that, if I've given you something to think about, listen to that guy. He just dropped nukes for like half an hour on you, and you'll be like, oh my God, I don't know what the hell I've been doing. What's your names, by the way?
Connor.
I'm Cliff. My name's on that, my Instagram and stuff. Have a good day. Does that make sense?
But at the same time, I don't think that a whole civilization our civilization only living on plant-based wouldn't work. Think about it. If we need land to grow them, there's going to be wars over land.
No, man. Honestly, I'm not trying to be a dick, by the way. You like to read. So there was a study done 3 years ago by Joseph Poor is the guy's name. He's an Oxford University guy. This was in the Science Journal. So, and the study did I think, I'm going to say 20,000 or 40,000 farms all over the world this study was done on. So it was to do with the environment and damage to the ecosystems and wildlife and all the rest. And his conclusion was that if everyone went plant-based, we could use 70% less ground, rewild lots of ground, and we can still grow enough food to easily feed 8 billion people. Easily. That was the conclusion. So the science says otherwise. I get your point, because I used to think the same as you. There's only 8 billion people. We're killing somewhere in the region of 80 to 90 billion land animals every year. They all need fed as well. So we can use the ground that we use. We're burning the Amazon down now to clear ground to grow crops to feed animals. And yes, some of it's used for avocados and some of it's used for soy beans, for vegans, for tofu. Small amount, but most of it's used to grow crops that feed animals. Corn maize, soybeans, stuff like that.
Right. I get where you come from.
Worth thinking about.
It is worth it.
I'm going to give you a card before you go, if you don't mind. I appreciate you stopping to talk to me.
No problem.
The sign's just to get people in to have a conversation. Like I say, I'm not trying to, I hope you don't think I'm trying to make dicks of anybody or anything like that. I'm just asking people to give it a wee thought. And like I say, you've seen what happens in a slaughterhouse, man. You're aware.
Yeah,
so,
I'm aware.
I'm going to ask you to watch one thing. There's quite a few resources there. So you can see these top two are about the environment, Cowspiracy, Seaspiracy. But this here one, the speech at the bottom, it's about 30 or 40 minutes long.
Right.
Sounds boring, right? A speech on YouTube. I thought I'll just scrub through this. It is literally the best speech I've ever seen in my life. Millions and millions of views. If I've given you something to think about and you care about animals, give that guy a listen sometime and see how you go.
No problem, man.
Have a good day.
Man.
Thank you for stopping.
Yep.
Have a good day.